and welcome to another exciting entry in the Altinity ClickHouse instructional video series. I'm John Hummel, Senior Technical Writer for Altinity, and today we're going to be discussing ClickHouse Network Security. Let me say that again slowly. ClickHouse Network Security. Just rolls off the tongue. If you've seen other videos in our ClickHouse hardening series, you know that we covered the exciting world of user security, how to restrict users by host networks, use row filters, and other important security features that are built into ClickHouse. We're changing direction away from the users and into the network. Odds are you're going to have your ClickHouse server on the network, so people don't have to enter the server room like they're in Mission Impossible so they can download responses to floppy disk drives. You know, the things my kids call a 3D printed save icon. ClickHouse is made to work on networks, to work in clusters and share information through different clients, whether it's the ClickHouse client or HTTP or Python or whatever works best for you. If you want your ClickHouse database to be successful, you can't have it in the corner waiting for someone to come along and type on a keyboard. It's going to be on the network, and you're going to want it to be secure. In this video series, we'll be covering three major areas of ClickHouse network security: reducing exposure, which is the focus of this video, enabling TLS or encryption, and encrypting cluster communications. The instructions matching these videos are available on the Altinity doc site, so you can see all the configuration files and commands you need to make this work. If you want to be notified when the next video is available, make sure you subscribed and click the bell icon. If you want the latest updates, training classes, or webinars about ClickHouse, then make sure you check out the Altinity resources page. The links will be below in the description field. Now let's get started on how to harden ClickHouse network security. For our examples, I'm running a virtual machine running Ubuntu Linux 20.04 and Altinity stable ClickHouse release 20.8.7.15. Hey you, I'm going to give you some tips on ClickHouse security, but if you want someone else to handle all the hardware and encryption and security, maybe you should check out Altinity.cloud. Set up your clusters, your shards and replicas, and let someone else deal with all the hardware, network setup, and file encryption, backups, ClickHouse users, all the things. All the things. Set IP listeners. A great man once said, "The best block is to not be there." It's easier to keep a door locked when that door is just a wall, and easier to keep a window closed when it's just a bunch of bricks cemented together. The point is, close all the ports and network ingresses that you're not using. I know someone out there may be thinking, "John, I have a firewall to block all the ports." To which I say, well, good for you, but let's not just rely on a firewall. First, let's hit up the listener setting. In the config.xml file, you'll find the listener setting sitting out there. Wait, did I see you try to edit the config.xml file before I said anything? Calm down. Let's think about this. I know in other videos you saw me editing the config.xml file, but here's a dirty secret I didn't let on. That's actually a bad idea, and I just did it real quick to keep the video going. The problem is if you go editing the default users and the default.xml file, whenever you install a ClickHouse upgrade, you run the risk of those files being overwritten with the new default settings, which means all your hard work goes away and then you're sad. Let's not be sad. What we should be doing is adding XML files to the directory /etc/clickhouse-server/config.d, which will automatically be added to the ClickHouse server configuration. You'll notice that we have the Yandex opening and closing elements, and then we have the listen host setting. Right now, it's set to : which means listen at all IP addresses. The good news is we can replace that listen host with whatever we want. I know I joked about firewalls before, but it's good practice to only listen where you need to and only open what you have to. So I'm going to force the listen host setting to the IP address of my little virtual machine at localhost, both for IPv4 and IPv6. That's 127.0.0.1, and for IPv6 it's : 1. Now we're going to save our listener file and restart ClickHouse server. As of now, the only IP address that this ClickHouse server should be listening to is localhost. I can try to connect from outside of the virtual machine, and I'm rejected. One more time, let's add in the virtual server's IP address into the mix with another listen host entry. Save it, restart the server, and now I can connect from inside and outside the server, but only on those specific set of addresses. Reduce port exposure. So we've shown how to set the listener IP addresses. Let's tackle the ports. ClickHouse has some default ports that it uses. HTTP on 8123, TCP on 9000, MySQL on port 9004. There are encrypted ports available, but they have to be enabled and certificates added. We'll tackle that in another video. For now, let's disable all the ports we don't need. If we don't need them, then let's not leave them open. MySQL? Look, I love MySQL as much as the next developer, but I'm not going to use the MySQL client to connect this ClickHouse server, so it's gone. The HTTP port? Sure, I'll probably use that, but let's just demonstrate it working, then turn it off anyway as a demonstration. The point is, if you want to disable a port, you can find them in the config.xml file, then comment them out. This also means when you perform an upgrade of your ClickHouse environment, check those ports to be sure they're still disabled. This is something that we have to do in our config.xml file, so just be aware of that when we do our upgrades. To turn off the ports we don't need, the easiest way is just to comment them out like you see me doing. So off goes the MySQL port. Away with you! Befoul our shores no more! No, seriously, I love MySQL, but not today! In this other window, I'm going to show that the HTTP port is working on port 8123. I'll just ask ClickHouse to return a select of 1 and give it my username and password, or else this isn't going to work. One curl command and I get the number 1. Let's turn off HTTP in MySQL, then restart our server. Retest our HTTP request. As you can see, we've been denied, but the ClickHouse client connects just fine. Let's stop here. In another video, we're going to be taking on the subject of network encryption and how to keep people from listening into your ClickHouse communications. I hope you've enjoyed this brief view of how to harden your ClickHouse network security. Enough that you can't help but subscribe and click on that notification bell so you're informed the moment we post our next exciting video. You can also find these instructions about configuring ClickHouse on our Altinity documentation site. If you're interested in the latest updates, webinars, and instruction classes in using ClickHouse or Altinity.cloud, check out the Altinity resources page. For example, we currently have a set of articles about how to use LDAP with ClickHouse. And if there's something you'd like to learn about ClickHouse, leave a comment so my boss knows you're watching and I'm just not playing Fortnite between my documentation work. Thank you for watching. I'm John Hummel, Senior Technical Writer for Altinity. Until next time, happy coding.